My name is George Wright III with your daily dose of inspiration, motivation, and education. This week we are talking about taking personal responsibility, prosperity pillar number 2. And I got to tell you, that definitely applies to taking personal responsibility for your finances. So let's go ahead and have a really honest, direct conversation about your finances. Let's talk a little bit about maybe some things just to bring some awareness and some direction to what you need to be doing in your finances to take personal responsibility for your prosperity. Now, before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and give you the quote of the day out of the Daily Mastermind mobile app. I really love these picks and things that we have on these, so I'd encourage you to download it. It's one of the first few tabs on there. And the quote is from Brian Tracy, and it says, "Failure to plan means planning to fail." What a perfect quote for today's topic. Failure to plan means planning to fail. So some of you are not proactively working on your finances. And let's be really direct. You're on a plan, and that plan is not financial independence. If you're not working on your finances, you do not have a plan. You are not working a plan. So with that said, I want to talk to you about what I have always kind of felt are the 4 core pillars of financial security. And I'm just like you. I'm working on these every single day, but I think they're the 4 areas you need to be aware of. The first is earn. The second is manage. The third is invest. And the fourth is protect. Let me explain a little bit of detail on that. When I look at earn, which is the first kind of pillar of financial security, there are active income sources and there are passive income sources. But make no mistake, you need to have active and passive income sources. The second area of managing your finances is your budgets and your bills and your expenses and working on all those types of things. The third area is investing. Now, every single person on this call, and I don't care what level you're at or this episode, needs to be saving a certain percentage. If you added up everything you've made in your lifetime and you just simply had 10% of it, I have a feeling most of us would be much more secure financially and mentally with our situation. So this is investing. This is saving, stock, real estate, Forex, business, whatever it is that you're investing in, right? And then the fourth pillar is protecting. Protecting is key, and we don't think about it a lot because you feel like maybe you have to have wealth to protect, but tax reduction strategies, asset protection strategies, and estate planning are all things you do to protect your wealth and your family and your future, okay? So those are the 4 key areas. Now let's review at a real high level some things that can kind of bring some awareness, give you some ideas, spur some thoughts. Something I would encourage you to kind of go back through this episode because I've laid it out so that we could really hit those top bullet points, right? My goal is to get you thinking about your finances proactively and actively, okay? So creating goals and targets is very important when it comes to wealth because this is unlike everything else we've talked about where we say stay in the moment, don't worry about the scoreboard. When it comes to your financial security and your wealth and your net worth, this is where you want to be checking your scoreboard often. When you check your scoreboard often, you're going to see results, right? What you focus on grows. So let me give you a few resources and tips. I'll explain a couple of ideas just I have personally and things I've learned because I've had the privilege of learning from some amazing individuals, 7-figure and 8-figure and 9-figure earners, and individuals that have success and happiness in these areas. So let's start with earning income. Right? So you're earning income. You need to learn the difference between active income, like your job and things you trade dollars or hours for dollars, and passive income. I'm not talking about residual income. I'm talking about passive income. Now, a challenge that I see in the marketplace is that a lot of entrepreneurs today, they are chasing the cheddar, man. They are chasing and trying to find a way to eliminate their active income, their job, so that they can create residual or passive income. I want you to start thinking about both because most 7-figure mindset people that I know, they want more active income because they use their active income to invest in their passive investments and passive income sources. So I don't want you to be thinking about how quickly you can get away from your job. I want you to be thinking about how to create passive or residual income, but also find ways to increase your active income. Maybe the amount of time you limit and you make more money for your time, or more time, more dollars. So here's a strategy. Sit down and identify specifically what's your financial freedom and your financial independence numbers. These are numbers that are going to help you to be able to have a certain amount of money. It's a dollar figure that would replace 3 to 6 months of your income if anything should ever happen. That is a really good financial number you need. Second, what is the amount of passive income that you're going to need in order to replace your active income? Because once you have these two numbers, you now have a target to work on. The other strategy I would give you is set yourself up on some automated savings program. I know you don't think it's a lot, but 10% of whatever check or any deposit or anything that comes in your account is a habit. We're talking about instilling habits. We're not talking about massive results initially. You get the habit, the result will follow. Focus on an automated savings program, okay? Then the next category is you're managing your finances. Now, your filter and your habits on budgeting are going to determine whether you're wealthy over time. People are so tired of budgeting, they don't like the idea of it. But if you don't do it, then you're, like Brian Tracy says, you're planning to fail. You're planning to fail if you are not on a budget. And I'm talking about organizing and knowing where your money flows. I'm not talking about the stress associated with doing your bills and budget. I'm talking about having a budget so that you can know where you're spending your money, right? Have you ever wondered why really wealthy people are so frugal? I had a couple buddies tell me that just the other day, man. Some people with the most money are the most frugal with their money. That's because how you do anything is how you do everything. How you do anything is how you do everything. If you don't have the habits of budgeting and managing your money, you're never going to be able to have it when you do have money. That's why people that have earned money very quickly lose it, right? So here's a strategy in this category. Did you know that Mint.com offers free tools, free budgets, free suggestions for you to completely integrate your spending, whether it's your bank accounts or your cash flow? It'll give you little text notices when you're over or under your budget. Having those little indicators is something that allows you to stay aware of your finances. Okay, so use Mint.com. It's a free tool. It's free. I use it. It's a great, robust tool. Third, let's talk about investing to create wealth. Now, you may not think about it, but the fact of the matter is the top 5% create 95% of the income in our country. And that 5% is made up of business owners and investors. You have to learn to invest if you ever want to be able to get to the top percent. Don't put it off. Don't imagine that once you have money or have income or have money in the bank, then you'll start investing. Investing is a habit. It's a strategy. Whether you're investing in your savings account, whether you're investing in business, stocks, whatever it is, you can always start investing at any level. The Forex markets allow you to invest with just a few $100s. So start learning and educating yourself on investing, and then you can learn to develop those habits and get a strong mindset, because your mindset's so important with investing. And there are so many different resources. You could go to protectwealth.com. They've got some great resources. And that leads me right into our fourth category, which is protecting your wealth. Now, I know this is a topic that most people feel like, I don't have a lot of wealth, so I'm not going to protect it. But there again, there are strategies that help you to accumulate wealth when you're working on protecting it. I've had the privilege of working with some 7, 8, and 9-figure earners, very, very successful, wealthy people over the years. And one of those is through one of the companies that I do marketing for, which is Protect Wealth Academy. So it's protectwealth.com. They run the longest running financial education company for wealth creation and protection. And I've learned a lot of important things. Like, you can spend a lifetime accumulating wealth and you can lose it overnight. So core areas for you to consider when it comes down to protecting your wealth, and I'm talking outside of, insurance and protection, things like this, is tax reduction, asset protection, and estate planning. You can do these through corporations, through different, limited liability companies or limited partnerships, but learn how to reduce your taxes significantly, because saving 30% is just as good as making 30%. Asset protection is a key, and I want you to really think about that, because ask yourself for a minute, do you think that there are people, high net worth individuals, that have strategies that maybe you don't know about? Of course there are. There's definitely strategies, but these are strategies that are available to you and I now these days because of the internet and technology and the ability for you to be able to get things at a lower cost. So strategies like entity structuring, tax reduction, cutting any capital gains to zero, creating anonymity with your businesses, creating structure and protecting yourself, bulletproof assets, they're all strategies that you can learn. So I'm going to give you a free gift here. I wasn't going to do this, but I just thought of this. But if you go to my website, g3worldwide.com, click on the tab that says Wealth Summit. The Wealth Summit I put on my website for a reason. I work with this group that does a 3-day intensive basically teach you, educate you, help you do it for asset protection, tax strategies, tax reduction, and estate planning. Normally the tickets are, $1,000. Go through my website because I've set it up so that people that work with me in the Daily Mastermind get a free ticket. You'd probably have to travel. We have an event, about 4 a year in Anaheim. We have Nashville at the end of February, but Anaheim, Phoenix, Orlando, Vegas. So it's a great destination to go to. But that's a place you're going to get 3 days of the biggest experts on the planet. You've got guys like Scott Estel, who's the former senior prosecuting attorney for the IRS. You've got guys like Aaron Adams, who runs just hundreds of homes, millions, probably $70 million worth of real estate. He doesn't even sell education. He just does real estate. You've got Mike Koval, who is one of the most affluent and amazing educators when it comes to stock investing. We've got tax liens and deeds. You've got all kinds of stuff from entity structuring. You've got the number one attorney out there for asset protection, Clint Coons. There's so many different individuals that are at that event. I want you to encourage you to go to one of those events. I go to all of them because I speak for the Daily Mastermind and some other topics, but that's a way to help you with your protecting your wealth. So now we've talked about earning income, managing your finances, investing to create wealth, and protecting your wealth. And, this conversation wouldn't be complete if I didn't add one more topic, and I'm not going to go in detail because we're going to talk about this next week. But I got off a really good conversation today with Dr. William Danko, who is a best-selling author of the Millionaire Next Door book. Many of you have probably read it, seen it. A friend of mine, known him for 20 years. He that book, by the way, has had over 4 million copies sold, multiple years on the bestseller, New York Times bestseller list, still selling copies, The Millionaire Next Door. And he's such an amazing individual because this was sort of phase one where I've met him and I've learned what are the characteristics of a millionaire. What does it take to be a millionaire? And it might surprise you some of the context in that book. But he has a more recent book called Richer Than a Millionaire. And this book, we're going to be talking to him about on this podcast next week. I'm going to do a really in-depth interview with him on the book Richer Than a Millionaire. Because what he has found through statistical research is that there's a huge ability to analyze and define true prosperity by adding that happiness factor, that fulfillment factor. I always talk about going from success to significance, but you need to look at people that are in that $100,000 a year to $1 million, the people that are in $1 million plus, who's really truly happy, who's not happy. And I want to tell you right now that if your strategy for wealth and prosperity does not include a strategy for doing things that fulfill you, that you're passionate about, that you're happy, that your happiness level, and he'll talk about when we get on this interview, he'll talk about an actual empirical statistical scale. You can take a little quiz in his book that will measure your happiness level based on just years and years and years of science and research and give you some solid suggestions. We're going to talk about that because I believe we're talking this week about taking responsibility. It starts with taking responsibility for your life, taking responsibility for your finances, but you've got to create a plan. You've got to create a plan that's solid, that's concrete, that's bulletproof. And I believe I can give you some resources and strategies for that. And one of the best guys to help you with that is Dr. William Danko, Bill Danko. We're going to be talking to him next week. I wished I had recorded my conversation I had with him. In fact, we both got off the phone after like an hour and a half and said, oh my gosh, we should have just recorded that because we had a pretty behind the scenes, down and dirty conversation. But it was a good conversation and I made some good notes. So I'll make sure that I really bring that back up when we have the interview with him next week. We'll probably spend a full hour, give you some real breakdown and strategies. So anyway, that's my message for today. I hope you are having an amazing week. I hope you're excited about taking responsibility for your finances and responsibility for your life. And this has been the Daily Mastermind podcast. I hope you'll share this. It'd mean the world to me if you'd share this with other people and help share the message. It'll help you to learn and you'll do a better job as well. So in the meantime, have an amazing week. Once again, this is George Wright III. This has been the Daily Mastermind podcast. Have a great day, everybody.